We're going to be presenting today the cold liquid reinforced roofing and waterproofing systems. So let's start with a quick history. We have a photo in the back there. How many people have been to New York City? Great. I was fortunate back in 2014 when I joined KEMPER. I went down there and saw various roofs we had already done in that state. So Madison Square Garden was completely renovated. That has a full KEMPER roof on that. We also did the Empire State Building. With that being said, we'll jump right in. Learning objectives today, we have a lot to cover, but I'm going to show you some applications. We're going to talk about the history. We're going to show you the performance benefits in details. We're going to talk about the Canadian National, what we're doing here. We're going to talk and finalize up on the innovative product featuring the Reflect 2K FR. So Jason is showing you here the application with the fleece. The Reflect 2K FR is our innovative product for this year. We're showcasing. We'll finish up with closing comments. We'll have some questions. I'll be around for a few minutes after the presentation. So in 1957, Dr. Heinz Kemper invented the first liquid resin. He had patents on that. They took it to the Volkswagen plant. It's 3 million square feet in service to this day. So that product's still the original product put on back in '67. About 50 years old now, still in service. So we're looking at a really long life cycle with these type of products. In terms of the application, it's fairly simple. We break it out there. So when you actually have a substrate, you're either going to have a primer. You're going to have either surface prep if you're on concrete or some different details, metal or different substrates. We'll have the correct primer for that substrate. The next step is once the primer is put down, it's cured. You'll have you'll mix the liquid. The liquid is put together. You're going to pour it out, 2/3 liquid into the field. You're going to roll the reinforcement fleece into the resin so it'll strike through, similar to everyone's painted. Same idea, you put the fleece into it, it'll strike through, then you're putting a third top pour. So everything's applied with a nap roller. The types of primers we have in the marketplace, we're manufacturing 3. We list them in terms of performance. We have a 2-component. What that means is you always have an A and a B product. So as soon as you add the part B to the A, it creates a chemical reaction, exothermic reaction. It generates its own heat, and that's the curing mechanism. You're not bringing a torch, you're not bringing a kettle to site, you're mixing with pre-sized containers. Everything is mixed, it cures 100%. We list the 2-component the best because we can use it inside and outside. There's no VOCs. There's no hazardous waste coming off the fumes. We can do mechanical rooms, penthouses, pools, spas, wet rooms. Same product you can use there, we can use it outside. So it has the biggest window for use. We can do schools, hospitals that are in desperate need to have some areas waterproofed. We also manufacture a single component. There's no mixing. You'll just stir it, pour it out, and what's there you use, you can always close the lid. You can use it if you don't need all of it. And then there's a PMMA. It stands for polymethyl methacrylate. It's its own system, its own resin chemical. It's fast curing. You wouldn't want to use this inside. You can use it outside on a roof or details, small jobs. The primer sets off so fast. It's really nasty smell when you install it. So you would get you get shut down. So great product, we have it all. Type of reinforcement, we're actually using a polyester needle punch reinforced sheet. That gives the product the strength and the grain direction, vertical and horizontal. So you'll have the freeze-thaw cycling with the product, it will withstand that. So these type of products, what we've been using is a polyester fleece. I'll pass this around. It's pretty strong. It gives all the strength to the product. And the product itself is UV stable, and it takes all the weathering of the snow, ice, and buildup. Here's an application on the left. You can see them. They have the rolls. We have different roll sizes all the way up to 41 inch is our largest size. So you can get a lot of production, ease of application. You're applying it, becomes monolithic. You're just creating a bathtub to that roof area. Very compatible with all different substrates. We're able to do the parapet first, roll out the fleece. Someone's mixing it, pouring it out, rolling it in. Fairly straightforward. You're encapsulating the white fleece, whether it's gray or a white or a tan color. So you won't have any dry areas. Acceptable substrates. Do I have any designers in the house here? Architects? Engineers? Yes, yes. So in terms of material, you're always looking for what is the product detail going to be in transitions. This is a prime example. Look at that huge window of availability to go to all those substrates. Not many products can do that. Wherever you're drawing on your board, in the field to the vertical, you can have transitions with this product and all those different substrates. Mixing with the resins, there's different resins. So two component, you're always going to mix. You're going to have part A, you're going to mix part B. As soon as you mix them, it creates an exothermic reaction, generates its own heat, its own curing. So you'll have the chemical links will slowly be closing. Some are faster than others. You can either slow it down or speed it up, depending if it's in winter conditions or if it's really hot out. What do you think is going to happen? It's a little harder to work with, but you can slow it down. So depending on which resin you want to use, you might change it based on the time of year. That leads into the next area. Quite often we're asked, what temperature limitations can you use these products at? We have winter in Canada, 6 months of the year. Cold temperatures, there's 6 months of warm. So we're half seasonally here. In the US, they have a lot of high heat in different climates, but the product's used in every state, and we've been using it through different provinces here. You just have to know what time you're going to end up installing it. So your window can be shorter or longer depending on your climate. So for example, Toronto, we're probably going to have an extended season versus Calgary. Calgary's pretty far up north. So if they're getting snow, you got to be careful where you're going to be. So -5, you can apply the products down to -5. Typically, it gets hard to work with 90 plus Fahrenheit, or if you're at 35 degrees Celsius. It'll start curing a little too fast for you. So you want to pick the day, the application where you want to apply the materials. So we're doing the education on that through the contractors as well. So we look after that with them on their training. Now this is the fun part, types of resins. There's 4 main ones there. We have a polyester that we showed at the beginning. Dr. Heinz KEMPER invented that one. That's the grandfather of everything after that. That's been in the market for 60 years. The 2K and the Reflect 2K. The Reflect 2K is an enhanced formulation that we've had for 25 years. The 2K that we're demonstrating here, I'll talk a little bit more about it later. The one component urethane is nice in the point of you can open and close the lid, you can mix it, you can pour it out. And any material you haven't used in that can, you can use it on another job site or you can continue use. So it does have some solvent in it to keep it fresh. And the PLMA is a good product too. It's very rapid setting, so you're going to be using it on an exterior application. So I'm going to pass out some of the samples here. Some of the products listed. This is a V210, we call it. That's the original invention, Dr. Heinz KEMPER. So that's the polyester. That's the one that's on Volkswagen plant. If you'd be so kind to review those and pass that along when I pass them out. This is the, we call it AC Speed FR. This one here is our PLMA. And Mr. Walton here is doing our Reflect 2K. So we'll let you come up here and see that at the end of the slides. Passing out couple more samples here. This is a 2-component urethane. Huge range of surfacing options. So once you've done your roof or your waterproofing application, you can put tiles over it. You can put some kind of overburden over it. You have a range of applications. There's some decking, tiles, pavers, traffic, surfacing. So I'll also pass these samples out for the traffic. So the traffic systems and coatings. So in terms of the coatings, we can get a high albedo in different colors other than white. So you can put a top coat to the urethane. It becomes a chemical bond. It's not a mechanical bond. A chemical bond means it's chemically embedded into the same resin. So urethane to urethane. So you're not going to have peeling, chalking, fading later. Pass this around. We have 31 different colors you can put different top coats to. This product here, we have a traffic surfacing over the membrane. So the traffic coating is like a floor coating that protects the membrane from damage. And on top of that, if you're using it outside, you need some traction. With some traction, you want to have a non-slip surfacing. So we're either using something really nice as a ceramic quartz for aesthetics, or the other way is we can put silica sand in the top and it'll paint to a different color. So I'll pass this around. So this replaces asphalt and concrete because the traffic coating on here sits up. It's about 3,500 psi. So we're protecting our membrane, but the key is we're waterproofing below the structure. The membrane itself is 90 mil. It's not petroleum based. When it hardens, it becomes synthetic. So the life cycle is far beyond asphalt based products, chemistry. Nice thing about liquids too, you can choose if you're looking for some points with lead or you want to be really green, the product is naturally green. What I mean by that is plant-based urethane, 80% rapidly renewable. What we're showcasing here on the Reflect 2K is 70% rapidly renewable. Liquid resins make the most sense for garden roofs. How many designers do we have here that have been using some garden roofs doing some work in the city of Toronto? None? I've worked with a few. So what we're looking at is having a product that goes down that can extend the life of that vegetated roof. So you don't want to choose a membrane that you might have to come back and replace the membrane prematurely in 10 to 15 years. You may want to try and look at these type of products to extend the service life of your building. I mentioned about the Volkswagen plant. That is completely exposed to climate, elevation, hot, cold, freeze, thaw, and suspended over insulation. So typically a garden roof's going to go over top of the membrane. It does offer some, like a blanket, more stable temperatures. So you could think about, hey, if that product lasts 50 years, how long was it going to last underneath the garden roof? It's root rot resistant. It's synthetic product. It doesn't promote roots to grow into the product. It's very nice. You're creating a monolithic bathtub. So it makes a lot of sense. Garden roofs are very expensive. So you want to choose the right product. We did the renovation at Falling Waters. Frank Lloyd Wright, famous landmark. Mr. Walton was involved, I believe, in that application. Turned out very, very nice. We show that in our fountain features. So this product is the same product you're using on your roof, is used in the fountains. Why? Because it works. It keeps the water out. And it's monolithic. It completely encapsulates your substrate. It's like the skin on your hand. It'll conform to each finger, each detail that you think that you have on a particular site. Unlike sheet products can't do that. So we've been used on roofs and in waterproofing applications. Whole track history there of applications, depending on the owner. So let's get into the fun part. Some applications in Canada. How many people have been to Vancouver? Great. You've been at Visit Canada Place. So we just renovated an existing hot rubber system. We've put back KEMPER in lieu of that and tied into the existing hot rubber system. So we renovated about 10,000 square feet in liquid resin, put back all the pavers, and actually our product comes up onto the railing and it was painted white to blend into its surroundings. So it's a nice job as an application showcase for us. Next site I have, we worked on the Calgary airport. So the architect chose their product in a fountain, interior fountain, 3,500 square feet. Our first job in Canada was the Ottawa Airport fountain in 2011 that was done with KEMPER as well. So we had some traction, and we were able to work with the architect, provide the design details. That was a nice job too. McGill University, we're just finishing up there. We're doing some interior planters, restoration. So it's occupied space. We went back in with odor-free, solvent-free, waterproofing membrane. It's okay that they did hot rubber with a kettle when it was first built, but now that it's past its age, you had to come back in. So we opened up some buckets. There was no shutdown of that building. We worked through an architect and engineer, and we're doing some restoration there as well. How many people traveled out to Halifax? Nice area to visit, East Coast. So that was pretty cool. We were able to do that this year. We were re-roofing at the Citadel, which is on the hill there, the Garrison. It was an old tar and gravel roof in need of repair, maintenance. We came back in and we're getting it done. It's phased right now. So we put down our urethane. We had a traffic system on top of it with a color on top of that. Gray, nice finish. Obviously in our backyard, Nathan Phillips Square, how many people skated on that ice? I live way out of Toronto too, so I've been down on there. Nice area. They had a lot of problems, City of Toronto. It's a trench, water, everything's sitting in there in the fountain. We came in, we liquefied it, no callbacks, no issues, and we can do a lot of different things. So again, being at the right time, educating an architect, or they're looking for the right product that's going to perform, we're here. That's what it's about, getting the right product after the life cycle of the other system has failed. We'll come in and make it look good. CN Tower was done a couple of years ago. I like to showcase it. It's at the base of the trench around the perimeter of the building. So we end up doing there and we Kemperized it. No callbacks, no issues. It's self-terminating, it's UV stable. You're paying for the education on it's a finished product, petroleum-free, synthetic material, and it can go into all those tough details where other waterproofing and roofing products cannot be used. If you do use them, it's probably a wrong choice because you're relying on sealant, like caulking, termination bars, dissimilar products. Initial cost may be cheaper. Long term, you'll be paying a lot more on maintenance and you're going to have to take everything out. So there's a lot of keys to applications here. Just go back to this one. So what we're featuring here, Mr. Walton is doing an awesome job here. He's cut the fleece, he's detailed the drain, the stack, and the flashing. But this is an enhanced two-component urethane, highly reflective. We just had our testing done after 3 years weathered. So all white roofs do get dirty, but how dirty and how reflective are they after 3 years? So the test was done. We came in at a whopping 98. It hardly dropped. It's super bright. Fantastic product. It won't yellow. It won't fade. It'll stay bright, shiny. It's got all your codes and approvals. You can use it interior or exterior, but on a white reflective membrane, it's really for codes and approvals for municipalities that need either a garden roof, stormwater management, combination with our membrane, and a high albedo to reflect the light. So white roofing. So in City of Toronto, it exceeds their bylaw, this product, in terms of its performance reflectivity. Here's some application photos of the product put down. Flat roofs. It can be a dead flat roof. Doesn't need a 2% minimum slope. It's always good to design with a slope so you can get the water to that drain and it can drain. But this type of product, like I said, it's been used in pools, wet rooms, containment tanks. The water sits on it all the time. Not an issue for our membrane. It's pretty cool. You're not going to prematurely come back to repair the membrane or take it off in 10 years because all the other membranes require positive drainage. Correct? Excellent. This is an example in the US. So it's being used also on high-rise construction, application here on a barrel roof makes a lot of sense. It extends the life of that building from day one. So technical support is key. So how do we get there? How do we help you? We do the presentations, we have the specifications, we have the details available online. We have a fabulous training center. We train the contractors. We certify the contractors on site. We support you. We're there. So it's a partnership from the designer to the owner to the contractor. And we have certified contractors for each type of application. We either have a waterproofer for grade, we have roofers for roofing, we have restoration contractors that are doing some service work with clients as well. So we cover all the spaces with the same product. The same product that's happening in the field is the same as your flashings on your details. It's important. For roofing, you need codes and approvals. For waterproofing, you need codes and approvals. So we have those. We have certifications, third-party certifications. Just to do a recap, again, with some closing comments, the reasons why, quite clear. It's very sustainable, extends the life of your building, unaffected by UV, standing water, exceeds a lot of the municipal bylaws. Stormwater management, high albedo roofs, combination with garden roofs, works well. You can also, with waterproofing, you're able to put surfacing to it. It's its own system. So you get their waterproofing benefits. Instead of putting a paver right over it, you can actually put traffic protection on it. If you have a high traffic roof, you can put sand, kiss coat, we call it a kiss coat, seal the sand. That way you have something super, super tough. You can't get a knife, you can't get a hammer through it. It protects that membrane, that waterproofing. So you can use rooftop terraces and details, and later, when you've done all that, you can convert the roof to either a PV or a garden roof in the future. So the key point here, it's the best choice for the toughest details, bar none. Thank you very much for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be around for a few minutes after. Jason's got this done, Reflect 2K put together. I have a cured sample as well. Any questions, feel free to ask us. Thanks very much again for your time.